Well, Luke, Top Trooper,
Yes.
super psyched to be talking to you
To me.
finally. Feels like this has kind of been a long time coming.
Yeah, de like definitely. Honestly, since we've been in communication for like 3 years, it seems now. Like it's kind of crazy thinking now, like this is the first time we've actually talked.
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
especially considering being in like collaboration for almost 2 years as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of,
Good.
it's remarkable for me when I finally make these connections or like, I have there's a lot of names or usernames that I
Mm,
interact with now and then. But you're one who, like you said, we've been in contact for a long time, but never actually spoken face to face. So, it's
yeah.
exciting.
Yeah,
For people
100%.
who don't maybe aren't as familiar with you, I'm sure our audiences have a lot of crossover. But for people who
Yeah.
aren't as familiar, could you just tell us a little bit about um, what you do on YouTube and your kind of creative outlet, I suppose?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Luke, aka Top Shoe Productions, and pretty much a brick film YouTuber as it goes. Um, I I love making original content as well, even though I made those Among Us videos and all that stuff, which is kind of what I'm famous for almost now. But yeah, original content is more my thing, I think, and as well as you, I know that as
Mhm.
well. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just brick film YouTuber. Sort of retired now
Mhm.
though because of university, but yeah, I still love to be in that community in that space time to time. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what, if I can ask, what are you studying in university, or what's going on in your life?
Yeah, fair enough. Funny enough, animation actually, your classic good old animation,
Yeah.
as well as traditional film as well, which I love traditional film. But yeah, still deciding if I want to fully go down the animation like route still.
Yeah.
But that is what I'm studying. Mm.
Yeah, it's a weird time to be an animator or to be like
Yeah,
it's you know I flip-flop on the AI thing, whether it's going to steal all the jobs or whether it's going to become an incredible tool for like independent animators to use to amplify their
yeah,
skills. Do you have any thoughts on that?
100% thought about that as well, and I think everybody does in the class as well. Like it's something that's progressing so fast. So I don't know. It might become a problem or it might become an asset. You can't really tell right now, I
Yeah.
don't think. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, the AI generated videos are crazy. Like they're just popping off everywhere, you know? So that they're just
Yeah.
gonna get better. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's gonna look like for animation, but yeah, I could definitely see AI generated short films like coming soon, you know? Like yeah.
Yeah. I guess, it's easy to like get cynical about it and to be like,
Yeah.
what's going to be the point if anybody can crank out whatever. But
Yeah.
I guess if you wanted to take the silver lining approach, which I typically do, it seems like, well, first off, who knows what the heck is going to happen in the next 10 years, just like on a global scale.
True.
But
Yeah.
in the realm of animation and filmmaking, it seems to me that if you just get familiar with the right tools, you'll be able to just make whatever you want to make, tell whatever story you want to tell, and like good stories will always be good
Yeah, that's fair.
stories. Um, I guess
Yeah, true.
who knows what the competition will be, but maybe we'll get to a point where it's not about out competing other filmmakers or animators.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, I mean it can definitely be a tool and I've definitely seen you use AI a lot with your live action stuff, which is actually sick. Like it's
Hmm.
yeah, it's so cool. So I can tell you're thinking about, live action adaptations and things like that, which is so cool, you know? Like, hey, if one day you decide to do something like that, I'll be very keen to
Hmm.
join along, that'll be so fun. But yeah, I don't know. It's very cool in that sense that you can kind of have the creative freedom to express your content in other ways as well. Um, yeah, but I'm not sure where it's going to go. Right now, it's relatively safe, I'd say. But
Hmm.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah. So what year are you in university now? How many years have you
So
been?
first year in university.
Okay, and
Mm.
how's that been?
It's been all good. Pretty fun. I stayed at a hostel, so I had
Oh wow.
a community for sure. Um, had some uni friends who were just like two people in a flat, which is you know, a lot different from what my environment was for sure. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, it was pretty fun. Um, Definitely a lot less classes than at school, at high school.
Oh
That's
yeah.
for sure. A lot less hours, but you know, it is what it is. It was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah. Mm,
I'm sure there are a lot of people who kind of watch our stuff who, do
mm.
stop motion too and are interested maybe in pursuing a career in film or animation. Is your first year like studying this? Is it what you expected? Are you taking a lot of like generals or like base or like are you getting to like play with really your passion?
I mean, yeah, in terms of animation, I don't really know what I was supposed to expect. Like, like I wasn't supposed to really expect anything different because it was just animation, you know? Like, we used Blender as well as Maya, which is like the industry standard,
Hmm.
which is worse in my opinion. Blender's probably better. It's easier, more user friendly,
So I've
but
heard.
Maya is just the industry standard, so it's like, all right, whatever. But you know, it was still fun to use, I guess, and learn that. But the user interface was like crazy, honestly. It's kind of
Mhm.
difficult to use, but yeah, run into so many different problems. But it's still, if you want to do that sort of thing, it is fun to learn and to learn those skills for sure. Mm.
Yeah, I know that's, one of these things that's prevented me. Like I've played with the idea of pursuing some kind of film job or,
Yeah,
whatever it might be, whether it's independent or with a company or advertising. But
yeah,
so to do that, if you haven't gone to film school, at the very least you have to be familiar with like Adobe and or Premiere Pro or like these
yeah,
industry standards. And I've kind
yeah,
of taken my own weird route and I use my own programs and so there
yeah.
are if you want to there's a price of admission if you want to work in the industry.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you've pretty much conquered all this stuff already with your like movies. It's crazy, you know? Like I don't know how you do it. I mean, you know,
So
movies,
many.
man, brick film movies especially. It's like
Yeah.
you got the quality, but you also have the quantity. It's like not even that, but it's really really awesome, and I love what you do. But yeah, I mean, we it's pretty much the same stuff, really. It's just got different labels and names on them, really, you know.
Yeah,
So
and I've heard
yeah,
people say like
similar softwares.
yeah, oh yeah. I guess when
Mm.
it comes down to the fundamentals of filmmaking, you're talking about like
Yeah.
light, cinematography, um, dialogue.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some like real core pillars, and then it's like
Sure.
a matter of learning the programs. But
Yeah.
um, you mentioned a little bit about what you do. The Among Us videos, which you've got like
Yeah.
4 million hits on one of them. That
Yeah. It
really
was crazy. Yeah.
significant. Uh, so
Yeah.
good on you there, man.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
of course, I'm a little biased. I'm particularly keen on your Lego Zombie Multiverse series.
Same. Same,
Uh,
bro.
it's so fun, and it's
Yeah.
amazing to see what you've done because I feel like you've done successfully what a lot of brick filmers like haven't. It's a very unique thing because, and I want to hear more about like how you organized it and managed it. But it seems like you take all these people's sig figs or their avatars and you put them in your
Yeah.
movie, like your people online, people in the brick filming community. So could you share a little bit
Yes.
about how you organized that, like how that idea came to you and just how it played out?
Yeah. So I wrote some bullet points down here because it's quite a like a big thing, honestly. There's a lot of steps to it that I took. So put a bullet points just to keep track of it.
Hmm.
Okay. Yes. So originally, do you have you seen the Battle of the Animators? It was like the it was a thing that happened before the Battle for Survival, so you might not be very
Oh,
familiar with it.
is that what you're referencing in the Battle of when you're talking about this arena where they organized the fight
Yes,
like for
yes,
resource? Okay, I actually haven't watched the Battle of the Animators.
yes.
I didn't get to that one, but I saw the
It's
thumbnail.
yeah, it's just a big goofy series of three videos, honestly.
Mhm.
Like I don't know if it's worth watching, but for some reason I connected it to the Battle of the Animators, the main series, to that. Just really because of I wanted to have the audience to have a more of a connection to Top Trooper, Gary and Steve, those characters. They were
Mhm.
in that originally, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good way to do it. And that's honestly where the time travel machine like came into place as well. to bring some of those people from Battle of the Animators into this series who wanted to join
Okay.
this as well. But basically, it started with inspiration from another channel that did the Battle of the Animators. It was like one video, I was in it, and I was like, hey, that's sick. Why don't I'm gonna ask them and I'm gonna see if I can do it. And they're like, yeah, sure, why not? And I shouted them out and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this three-part series. Did that and basically released a video first saying, comment on this video if you want a role, sort of thing. As simple as that. And let me know what minifigure you want to be represented by. If it's an existing one, a custom one, just let me know. And I got a lot of comments and people who joined it, and that's literally how simple it was. Um, and then that's what basically gave way for the Battle for Survival later down the road. So
Yeah.
yeah, I did the same thing for the Battle for Survival, released a video, all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Mm.
Yeah, it's great, man. I feel such a watch it like I feel a real kinship with what we've done with our channels because like
Yeah,
you know, my perception at least is that the things we have in common is we both just started animating, started this kind of cinematic universe contained within our channel,
yeah,
and then just kept building on top of it more and more and more. You started with
yeah,
Battle
for
of the
sure.
Animators. It kind of that plays in or it takes place in the same universe as the zombie series.
Mm.
And it's a community project too. People get involved, people even get on screen.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yes. Another thing I did actually, for the Battle for Survival video where I was saying, you can join this series I'm going to do. I also what I did, which was smarter than what I did for the Battle of the Animators, was I said you can make a short video as well, uh, basically shouting out the series that I'm going to do, and I'll give you a bigger role. So the
Mm.
people that did that are the people that actually had voice lines in the series, which is kind of weird and funny, but it shouted out the series to more people so they could also join it, and it would bring more hype to it because it's like, oh, this animator that I watch, he's going to be in this guy's series, and it would just bring a lot of
Mm.
community together. And I thought that was a really cool concept and idea that I fulfilled, and it was awesome. Like the other day, I was just rewatching a few of them, where it's like people were like, oh, go watch Top Troopers video. He's doing a series. Like, yo, it's so
Hmm.
sick. Like it was so cool to reminisce and look back on that for sure. Mm,
Yeah, I think there's real wisdom there too. There's this
mm,
idea that the value there's a direct correlation between the value you give your audience or your followers or your fans, whoever it might be, the value you put out into the universe, and the people who follow you as a result, or the people who are drawn to you. And you obviously are providing a lot of value to not only like the people following your channel, the people who are commenting, the people who are fans of your work, but even
yeah,
other you're providing value to other creators too, saying like, "Hey, can I pull you into my series? You can have a voice line." Everybody wins, and it's really
yeah,
it's a
definitely.
cool model.
Yeah, it was really fun to do that for sure. Yeah, and it was kind of fun because like it was a community beforehand too. Like we'd watch each other's videos already, so to like have them in my videos, the ones that I'd watched as well, was like, yo, this is awesome. Like, it's yeah, it just felt really cool when
Yeah,
making it for sure. It made it more fun to animate, if that makes sense. Yeah,
it absolutely does.
mm.
And I'm sure as you're animating, you're like, "Oh man, they're gonna love this part," or
Yeah.
they're gonna be
Can't
sick."
wait for this twist.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
or
wonder what they're gonna think of this. Yeah,
they're gonna
yeah.
sob when their character gets eviscerated.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. That's it.
So,
Mm,
I mean, you're going to school for animation. Obviously, this has
yeah.
been like a big part of your life and a big part of your passion. So I'd be curious, just like if you could give a summary of from its origin to like the present state of your creative outlet. How has it evolved over time? Can you tell where it started? What really caused it to grow, and how you kind of cultivated that?
Yeah, sure. Well, just creativity in general. When I was younger, I always had like a want to do like storytelling and that sort of thing because I already like always created comics and books and that sort of thing, and that was like a big hobby that I did when I was younger. Absolutely loved it. And then when I discovered brick filming, that was a whole nother thing. Um, yeah, fell into brick filming, but it actually originally started. I was watching these videos and I didn't know how to create them myself yet. I was like, wow, this is so cool. This is like magical. I don't know how to do this though. And then one day I was just sat in a room and I was had this phone. I was like, man, looking at my minifigures. I think it was like a Thorin minifigure from The Hobbit or something like that. And I was like, I want to just take photos of this guy killing an orc, something like stupid and basic like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I was taking photos, and my brother walked in, and he was like, there's an app called Stop Motion that you can do this with." Like, I was on the camera roll app of all things.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it was just like I thought I invented it or something. Like, it was like,
Yeah.
what the heck is this? And then I was like, oh, really? So then we installed it on that phone, and we started taking photos, and we just made some videos. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And eventually, he stopped kind of doing it, and I started doing more myself. And then eventually made a channel, and yeah, just went off from that really. Yeah, but yeah, stuck with original stuff first. Then obviously the Among Us stuff happened in 2020. Got my taste of fame there, and then we went back to original stuff because I was like, this is awesome, but it wasn't as fun to make.
Mm-hmm.
Like the money and like the views is awesome, right? But I was like, I want to stick to original stuff and actually create a proper fan base because that is awesome to have is the fan base, that are fans of your own work that you've made, like in your head, it's just
Mm-hmm.
awesome. So that's what I wanted to do and accomplished it somewhat. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what you have with the like that you have an hour and a half movie for crying out loud, when you put all those together. And it
Yeah,
tells it. And man, I just love the end game one so much. Like when you bring in
same, bro.
the slag or that's
Yeah.
it's called the Dread Reaper, is that right? Or is that something else?
There was something else as well. There was some like random lore that my cousin created for like this short story he made for school of all things,
Oh,
and he
interesting.
showed me it. I went to the South Island because I live in the north, and I went to the South Island of New Zealand.
Oh yeah.
For those that are confused, yeah, and um, yeah, he showed me this story that he made, and he was like, "Yo, this was like I made this for the TTPU or the Battle for Survival universe, as might be more clear." And yeah, he made up this big zombie thing called Dread Reaper. So that was that whole backstory.
Dang, so
But
you
no,
really
this
pulled
this
from all sorts of places.
yeah. So I was like, hey, I want to get like as much references and Easter eggs in this series as I can. There's
Hmm.
actually a lot of stuff that I would love to dissect one day, but don't really have the time now. But yeah, the big slag was didn't really have a name. It's just a big blob with arms.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely love them. Yeah,
Yeah, it was the some of the it was one of those incredible battle scenes that just keeps giving and giving.
yeah,
There's these and you're so creative in the way that you murder
yeah. Thank
minifigs.
you.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
like even one of the first kills, let's see, I made some notes here. The guy who like gets just grabbed and he's like, save yourselves, then he's just like slurped into the mouth and just like completely like
yeah,
not even swallowed, but like just destroyed. That was fun. Oh yes,
yeah.
Adrian, I think was his name.
Adrian. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
He made the actual person behind the voice actor
yeah,
himself. He made like a map, I think it was, for the universe as well, which is really
okay,
cool.
that is
But
very
yeah,
cool.
he got slept up. I was like, man, I'm gonna miss this guy because I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if I was going to continue the series or not back then.
Hmm.
Obviously, I decided on not doing that, most likely. But yeah, if I knew that when I was animating that I was most likely not going to continue, I probably would have killed off more main characters as well,
Yeah.
sadly. But yeah, no, it was so fun to do that, and I was like, man, people might be sad about this, but gotta do what you gotta do, gotta
Yeah.
raise the stakes, yeah.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. There's a saying, something like, what is it? Maybe the saying could be for you. We don't regret the
Mm.
minifigs we killed. We regret the minifigs we didn't kill.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah.
But
Mm.
I mean, it was a beautiful bloodbath regardless.
Yeah,
There's the
thank you.
guy who bursts apart in like his body bursts apart and is like he covers the
Yeah.
doorway, like he becomes like webbing, almost slag webbing on the doorway, which
Yes. Yeah.
and then he gets like cleaved in half by an axe, which is just great.
Yeah.
I love that you have some
By the
figures who just
Viking.
use medieval weapons.
Yeah, that was again, that was like just randomized, and the voice actors who chose those minifigures were like, "Hey, I want to be a Viking. I want to be a
Yeah.
knight." I was like, "Yep, I want to
Yeah.
be a clone trooper." Like, if I redid that, I probably would have changed some things. Like, I would have
Mm.
probably kept the medieval ones, but things like the Star Wars clone troopers and stuff would have been like, "Yeah, we can. I'll change it up a little bit though, so it's not like a Star Wars clone." You
Yeah.
know, it is what it is. You know,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
great fun, and it's part of the charm really is the you can tell what's going on and it's great.
for sure.
Um
Yeah,
and I just want to say that the whole sligs like or the popper that you have, the person mutation
yeah.
explodes and the little slugs go everywhere. I thought you nailed that. The animation there was so
Thank you.
satisfying and
Yeah,
gruesome.
that was 100% inspired by Void War. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
saw that and
figured.
I was like, man, if I'm gonna have like your aliens and this episode 6, I gotta have that. I
Yeah.
was like, nah, missed opportunity if I didn't.
Yeah.
That was such a good scene.
It
So
was a great
yeah,
touch.
yeah,
But yeah, let's see. I wanted to go back because you were talking a little bit about like switching from Among Us to going back to original content because that's kind of where, your heart was at. Uh, do you have some ultimate creative goal? Do you have like a pie in the sky dream of like a story that you want to tell or like even an avenue you want to go down, specific or vague, anything like that that you think about?
yeah. That's
Or
a good question.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I've thought about it a little bit. Just like in general, going down like the film route or something like that. Um, working on film sets or just anything like that would be really fun. But in terms of storytelling and a particular story, not really. Not that I've thought about too much now. I mean, the Battle for Survival, obviously that would be fun revisiting, right? That would
Hmm.
be awesome. But yeah, I'm not too sure in terms of like if that'll work right now, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that'll be really fun, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you're in a place right now where the future is pretty wide open, and
Yeah,
you're finding
yeah,
the path. So
for sure.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, nice. I had something. Um, do you think you'd prefer to work in live action productions or in animated productions, or are you just like I would take either or would be delightful?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I kind of went down animation just because of the fact I did brick filming and I knew I kind of already had some skill there. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll just do animation. But yeah, now that I think about it, I don't really know. Live action is pretty fun too, and like more people sort of watch that stuff because it seems more realistic, you know.
Hmm.
So I might prefer to go down live action, but animation still got a special something, and you know, I wouldn't mind still doing animation, but maybe more live action, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're in New Zealand,
Yes.
and you're in school or university at New Zealand as well?
Yeah, yeah.
In the area. Gotcha.
Mm.
Do you know Sonny Johnson? Like, I don't know if you know much.
I've I've heard about him. Yeah, I remember you talking about him a couple of times. Did he help with the scripts of Void War?
He did, yeah. He's been kind of a part of the team for a while, for a long time
Yeah.
now, actually. And he's in Australia, and he's acting in
Right.
live action movies and stuff.
Really?
But I
Sheesh.
have a feeling that you two would get along.
Yeah.
Very
That's
similar
so sick.
interests. Yeah,
Awesome.
great guy. Shout out,
Yeah.
Sonny. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, has
Yeah.
it been fun meeting other people who are interested in the same or have similar interests? What's that been like?
Yeah, it's been cool. It's been cool. Yeah. I mean, some people are a little bit nerdy in the classes and all that stuff, but that's cool. That's just personality, you know.
Yeah.
It's still fun to hang out with all of them. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I didn't really try as much just because I already had that community in the hostel I was staying at. But I
Mm,
definitely made friends and some good friends in the classes too, actually, um, who were awesome. Yeah, a lot of them had like like some history with Blender and they'd used
mm.
Blender already. and had done 3D animation and stuff already. And I didn't really do that since I was this stop motion guy, you know.
Hmm.
So we did have a little assignment where we animated these clay blobs in stop motion, which was quite funny. So my one was really good for my group for reasons that are kind of obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, most people kind of use Blender and stuff like that, which was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And Blender's got a steep learning curve. Any 3D software, it's like
Yeah.
it's taken, and I haven't been in formal courses, so it's taken me so long to like learn certain fundamentals. But I've never used Maya, but I do have to say Blender, I don't know, like what more you could ask for almost, Like,
Yeah, I agree. Blender is better just because it's easier to use,
yeah.
and well, at least I've heard about that. I haven't really used it that much myself, but the people in the class, they would always complain. They're like, "Man, mine is just useless. Blender's so much better." And there's like all these tools, and my friend would be like, "Man, I miss Blender. There's all these tools that you can do in like a few seconds in Blender, and it'll take like an hour in Maya." And
Jeez.
I was like, "Well, all right,
Do you
I
know,
missed out then."
has
Yeah.
anyone explained to you why Maya is the industry standard?
Sort of briefly. I think the lecturer did briefly because I think it's because Blender, um, like it doesn't matter if you use it or whatnot. I think the industries don't use it because Blender technically owns the stuff that you create,
Oh,
but
yeah.
Maya, it's all like it's all kept secret. It's all like yours, you know.
Mm,
And when you're creating an animated movie, they don't want anything to like get leaked or get out there really because they want to like keep
mm,
it all secret while they're making it. So they choose Maya over Blender for that reason. Something
yeah.
along those lines, I've heard. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that
think that's the answer.
it
Mm.
figures that there'd be some kind of legal or copyright reason.
Yeah,
Since Blender is
definitely.
open source, I see how that might
Yeah,
be a thing. Yeah. I find it funny envisioning you getting the uh stop motion project and being like, I've trained my
yeah,
whole life for this.
yeah. I know this one.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, it was great fun. You doing that one for sure. They had like a little stop motion studio and everything.
Yeah.
So that was sick. Yeah,
Oh,
green screen room. Yeah,
yeah.
so good. Yeah,
That's so cool, dude. That's the
yeah.
academic experience that I missed out on when I decided to pursue biology. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fair enough though. Yeah,
But yeah, and I'm doing a lot more, I have to tell you, I'm doing a lot more filmmaking than I am biology. But yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I'm curious
Mm.
if you could just share a little bit about like where your inspiration comes from and whether that's like what fuels you. And it could be in filmmaking, it could be at life, where does that what kind of lights your fire?
Ooh,
Or where do you pull inspiration from?
yeah. Well, I'm not too sure in terms of just everything like general, but in terms of the stuff I did do for the channel, it was definitely, especially Battle for Survival, definitely yourself. This guy called Twisted Bricks, and
Thank you, thank you.
um, this other guy called MT Films, I think.
Oh yeah,
He
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 did
did the
the
Lego
virus.
virus.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So I referenced that in the little portal scene in episode 6 as well. Because I
Mm,
asked him, hey, do you want to be a part of this multiverse thing? He was like, yeah, sure. So I had more plans with that, but it obviously didn't work out.
hmm.
And Star Wars Studio 100,
Oh
the
yeah.
Outbreak. Yeah. So there was going to be more with that as well, that multiverse collaboration. But yeah, just didn't work out either. But yeah, you three were definitely inspirations for that series, especially early on. But yeah, in terms of just everything else, I don't really know. Couldn't really tell.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, MTV Films and Star Wars Studio One are definitely like titans within the Lego Zombie stop motion world.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%. Yeah.
yeah,
I
really.
watched I watched like MT films as a youngin. I remember seeing that and I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like
Hmm.
zombies and then you get like attached to the characters, but they didn't really talk in his one, so they're kind of
Hmm.
just like mute. So it was hard to get attached, but it was still cool to watch. And then I watched it again when I was slightly older, and I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Like, why not make something like this? Since I
Yeah.
was in the thick of like making stop motion at that time. So yeah,
Yeah.
mm,
Nice. Do you know if
yeah.
MTV Films is still making movies or MT Films?
Yes, he actually is. A couple months ago, while I was in the hostel, he released like a Lego virus part, whatever it was, like probably like 30 or
200.
something like
Yeah.
that. It was all right. It wasn't that great, but it was still Lego virus. So what more could you want?
Yeah. Yeah. You know
So
what you're
yeah,
signing up for. Yeah.
yeah. So that was quite funny actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Star Wars Studios releasing like another Outbreak 4 or something. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
But
I think
yeah,
that's been in production for some time. Um, I
yeah, for
uh
sure.
I made a meme the other day, or like over a year ago, maybe two even, and I thought it was hilarious, and I think some people
Yeah.
liked it. But it was, have you seen the one where it's like guys only want one thing and it's effing disgusting?
Yeah, I've seen that one. That's
And,
everywhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I had
Um,
like three movie posters. Uh, of course, self-gratuit like the Gray Horizons,
yeah.
Lego Zombie: The Outbreak 4, and the Mini Life TV movie. I don't know if
That's so funny.
yeah, are you familiar with
I
the Mini Life?
I actually didn't hear about it until I saw your podcast episode with him.
Oh yeah, with Chris.
So yeah, that was something I hadn't heard about before that. So that was funny. I think I remember seeing that meme. It
Yeah,
rings a bell for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
that's quite funny.
Chris is a
Yeah,
great guy and great voice
yeah,
actor and animator. I really like
yeah.
seeing what he does. There's a quite a there's a lot of plot in your zombie series. Um,
100%. Yeah,
could you I'd be curious to hear it from your mouth, like break
yeah.
down the basic factions and what their objectives are, because you have one that's like similar to Smite, but it's like they're
Yes.
kind of their own thing. So
White
if
Mouse
you wanted
Syndicate.
to, yeah, exactly,
Oh,
that's the one.
oh, I actually have this.
Oh no way, dude! Props
Yeah,
on that emblem. I think it's just really
thank
cool.
you. Yeah, thank you. I forgot to mention, but there's some merch prototypes that I made about a year ago.
Oh yeah.
I got my jump on as well.
Oh no way. That's
Yeah,
great.
got the back.
Oh, dang. Yeah,
Yes,
that's a
it
sweet
was supposed to be
design.
my profile picture that I made up now, but it was originally for this merch, and I completely forgot about it until I moved back home, and I was like, oh yeah, I still have this merch sitting around. I
Yeah.
should maybe do something with it. So I don't know if I'll drop it still, but it's still cool to have. Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried with the merch thing, and I haven't been able to like do much with it because I think my audience is generally more interested in Legos than clothes, but maybe I just don't have
Yeah.
enough. Maybe, I'm willing to take the fault on that one.
Yeah.
Just haven't.
No, yeah, I've seen a few of them. I really like that one where it's got the four characters on the
Yeah,
t-shirt.
the boys.
Yeah, the
I do
boys.
like that
Yeah,
one.
it's so
That is a piece of merch that I still have and wear myself actually. Um,
awesome.
but yeah,
Yeah.
so what is
Okay.
the
So
white mask? Yeah, I'll let the mic to
yeah,
you.
my my cousin who helps with the law, he actually created um this Google Doc that breaks down the like classes in the White Mouse Syndicate.
Hmm.
But obviously, I have the information on what they're doing really. Anyway, so they're basically just from episode 6. They're just they're a branch off of Smite. So I forgot what branch it was, but they traveled from the your universe, Twisted Bricks universe, and uh, came into the TTPU, the Battle for Survival universe. And the idea was that they were with Smite, but they didn't fully believe in what Smite was doing, and yeah, like it just didn't work out. They thought that they failed, like the universe failed, like it was big flop what they did with like the slag virus stuff,
Hmm.
and so Um, they so Daniel, I think it was Daniel, the character Daniel, who was the little kid in episode 6,
Hmm.
who he became the bald dude in episode 5 that you saw, who was the leader of the White Mud Syndicate, who was the guy in the gold armor as well. So he traveled, he became the leader, and basically they grew up sort of created this faction in the universe, sort of in secret. Um, and they had similar beliefs to Smite, except they were gonna carry out their goals in a different way. So instead of just releasing this random, virus that they got, they were gonna kind of alter it. So they still had like a bit of slag, as you saw in the portal scene. Actually, it's kind of very brief, but you saw this guy carrying this slag object, and that would later become the big slag that you see in episode
Mm.
6. But they were going to use that and alter it up. So that's the virus that you see in the series. Is that like the black fungus goo thing?
Okay.
Um, so later on, it's going to have a plan where it evolved a bit as well, but obviously I
Mm.
didn't get to that. But yeah, so they were going to basically try and conquer humanity with this new virus, and like Smart was planning to do that. Am I correct? They were trying to like change humanity into a
Yeah,
better race or something.
I would say that ultimate, and that's the problem with Smite, of course, is that the infighting between factions and disagreements as to how
Yeah,
to use this like world-ending uh, uh, organism. But
yeah,
I would say that the the top of Smite, like ultimately the kind of religious goal was to just unify everything, to make everything peaceful through complete unification. But of course, there were others
yeah,
who thought that they could use it to control. And it sounds like the White Mask Syndicate kind of took that route.
yeah. So they were going to basically do that, but in a more in a better way that they could try and control it. So I kind of forgot what I was going to try and do for it, but I'm pretty sure that the zombies would slowly be able to learn how to speak, even,
Mm,
and like learn these more human, ways, because they can pick up weapons and all that in the early episodes. They already know how to like manage like a human in a ways. Like they still have the um, muscle memory, if that
yeah.
makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. They're kind of like
So they were going to, yeah,
violent or like drones almost more than
yeah,
zombies. You know.
yeah, definitely. So they're going to slowly evolve a bit and like be able to speak. I was playing, and basically the White Mask Syndicate would be able to actually control them in a sense. There'll be something there, like maybe chips
Mm,
in the bloodstream that they had going on, something like that, some random thing, and they'll be able to control them, and
hmm.
it'll become like a big unified faction, kind of. So it'll become a major problem for the characters in the series. Obviously, eventually they'll shut the whole thing down and win,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it wasn't going to go down very easy for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so the White Mask Syndicate's just a twisted evil faction, pretty much, similar to Smite, except they were a bit more careful and cautious about how they did it. And yeah, that's basically the White Mask Syndicate, really.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. That actually is useful for me to hear even because I felt like I was understanding their motives, but maybe like not quite or I didn't know, of course, the direction that it was going to take ultimately. Um,
yeah,
but
definitely. Yeah, definitely ended with a cliffhanger. I
yeah.
feel like the White Mask Syndicate was not explained fully with the 3 episodes that they were in.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was definitely something that I would have explained down the road if I continued.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. No, it's who knows? Maybe we'll see part 7 one day here. Or was it or
Oh,
part 8?
maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
Blender
Yeah.
animated.
Live action.
Yeah. Oh
Ooh,
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, you bring Sunny over, you got an actor already.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Oh, actually, one question I did have. I'm just seeing your merch reminded me of it. The top
Yeah,
tro I'm curious about the origins of Top Trooper. Like I know the origins
yeah,
in the lore origins, why he was given that name. But
yeah.
is it just something you picked one day, or how did that come to you?
Yeah, so It's kind of random. So Top Trooper Productions, it was just a name I came up with
Hmm.
when I was younger, obviously. I was like, all right, Top Shooter Productions, sounds good. Let's name it the channel. So that's literally how that came about. But for the
Hmm.
character, for the Battle of the Animators, basically, I wanted to use, since I was bringing people in for cameos and parts, basically, and most of the time, half of the time, it was they were I was building them like their profile pictures, since a lot of brick filmers had
Hmm.
their profile picture minifigures, And I was like, yeah, I'll just have my character be my profile picture as well, and name him Top Trooper after
Hmm.
Top Trooper Productions. And since I was using the same character for the Battle for Survival, it just carried over, and I was like, yep, let's just name him Top Trooper. And obviously, as the series went on, I was like, wait, I don't really want this to be uh, a channel mascot in my video,
Mm.
as well as all the others. I want this to be an actual full-on character, and he has his reasoning behind the name and look and
Hmm.
everything. So he's a bit different from the uh, profile picture mascot.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I gave him that like backstory reasoning to
Yeah.
why his name was that. Yeah.
Gotcha. And the
Mm.
the torso
Yeah.
with the T on it, is that like a
Yes.
Lego torso that comes with a set, or is that custom?
It actually is Lego. It came with a CMF minifigure. It was like a drone boy or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I got two of them by chance as well, which was really weird. But yeah, it was literally by chance, and I didn't even think about it when making my minifigure. I was like, oh yeah, here's a torso with a jumper on it. It's like kind of casual. I'll
Mm.
make that my mascot figure. And then I noticed, oh wait, Top Trooper, and then it's got a T on his torso. That's legit perfect. And I had
Jeez.
people comment as well with the new updated figure. They're like, wow, this is like perfect. How did you manage to do that?
Yeah.
Just yeah, weird coincidence, but it was awesome.
Yeah. It's serendipitous.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was meant to be.
yes. It's funny how those things play out.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious, do you have any of your videos, or what creative things have you done that you feel were maybe like I don't want to use the word underrated, but like that you were
Yeah.
really passionate about or that really spoke to you, but maybe it didn't like get as many views as Among Us, for example.
Uh, okay, I got two for sure. So the obvious one being the Battle for Survival.
Hmm.
That would have been awesome to get more views. I think it was uploaded like 5 years ago when brick filming was more at its peak, and the updated policies weren't a thing. Then
Hmm.
I think it would have done slightly better, but it is what it is. But the movie, when I uploaded them as a movie, that definitely performed a lot better. Because I made the thumbnail like that Star Wars Studios Outbreak
Oh
as well.
yeah.
I was like, all right, if I'm gonna try and get more views with this, so I'm gonna go full out. And I named
Hmm.
it like Lego Zombie something rather, like very similar to his title as well. I was like, all
Hmm.
right, I'm just gonna fish for views. I'm gonna try with this,
Yeah.
try and reach as many people as I can, and it worked to a sense, so that was good. And the second is Toy Warfare as well. I
Oh
don't know if
yeah.
you've seen that one, but there was one, and then I made a second one. It was quite inspired by Toy Story actually,
Hmm.
and then I just uploaded it as a movie. That one did a little better, but yeah, it was similar views. Got like 7,000, I think. So it's not terrible,
No,
but
yeah.
yeah, it would have been awesome to get more because I'm very proud of that one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
actually did.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I screened that video as well,
Mm.
the Toy Warfare movie, for the exhibition that I did as well when I had my posters up and stuff, which is an awesome opportunity. But that one was screened to an audience as well, so
Oh
that
yeah.
was that was really cool.
Tell us a little bit about that event, for those who don't
Yeah,
know.
so it was brought up. It was just a random opportunity that happened from someone in my church, and they mentioned, she's the owner of this art gallery, and then yep, that's how the opportunity came up. She talked to me about it, emailed me about it, and I was like, yeah, why not? This looks awesome. It's like an animator and illustrator exhibition thing,
Hmm.
and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And yeah, mine was like the main event. There's me and two others, and on the wall when you walk in, there was my very colorful Battle for Survival and Toy Warfare poster, and you have like the screen that goes through different videos. So it's like my Mandalorian video and the Battle for Survival trailer rolling over, as well as
Oh, nice.
someone else's animated short film that they did, who was in the exhibition. So yeah, it was really fun. We had a date prepared for the screening as well, which quite a few families and kids came to watch, which was yeah, it's like awesome because you don't usually experience your videos being viewed live with an actual audience that you get to see their reactions and see how they respond to it. So that's definitely cool. And they talked to me afterwards as well. Like I talked to the audience about it and the creative process behind it. So yeah, it's definitely different than let's say premiering it on YouTube. Even though that experience is also awesome, because you get to see
Yeah.
people's chat messages and stuff. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's always awesome. Because you're like, oh yeah, this scene, can't wait for this. People are gonna react to this
Yeah.
one. But yeah, it's definitely a different experience and definitely a fun one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's definitely a unique milestone to have your work featured in some kind of exhibition or in a live setting or where you're seeing people react to it, watching it for the first time. That's not, that's experience that not that of all the stop motion brick filmers on, YouTube, it's not that
Mm.
many who get to have that cool experience.
Yeah, it's very, very blessed. That's very, very fun. Yeah.
I did want to probably wrap it up pretty soon here, but I did
Yeah,
want to
fair
say
enough.
one of the, there are certain clips in your work or in the zombie movie in particular that I really
Yeah.
enjoyed. I just want to call attention to them.
Yeah.
One was when the guy he kind of looks like he's a robot, but I think he just has some kind of mask on him. Is his name Warhawk or did
Hawk. Oh yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I remember him. He's he's a human, but he's voice acted by my cousin, who's like the cousin that has done a lot of this law stuff,
Oh, nice.
and is actually I'm going back to his short story that he made with the Dread Reaper thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually based on a character, the main character in that he made, because he wasn't a character before that. No, I think he was in it as that character, but he wasn't an established character with voice
Hmm.
lines and a name yet.
Mm.
So I basically just said, "Oh yeah, let's make this short story character." Since I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is really cool that he made this. Let's make that his backstory." So
Yeah.
that's where that came to be. So yeah, he is a human. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
there's a very cool moment when they're facing off
yeah,
against the White Mask Syndicate, where this
yeah,
one white mask soldier like is fighting him, and he's like, "Where did he get that mask?" Basically, and
yeah,
then the Warhawk he like takes his knife, and in a real like John Wick moment, he puts it in the guy's throat,
yeah,
and then uses the other hand to just like punch it in, and it's like
yeah.
so it was a lot. It made me smile.
That was Yeah, it was very brutal, but
Yeah,
not going to back down from that. It's Lego. You can take it a bit too far if you want.
yeah,
you
oh
know.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely very fun to make, and yeah, I'm glad you came up with that story because, but the thing is, I was going to try and expand on it a bit more to give the audience, this is who the character is, because
Hmm.
obviously only me and my cousin knew his full backstory. He was like a um, commando in the military or something. Like his suit was the whole futuristic, squad of military men, basically.
Yeah,
I won't get into it, but yeah, I was hoping to explore it a bit more. But yeah, it didn't really happen. But
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
he looks cool.
It's very cool, and it's
Yeah.
nice, that's the unique experience about watching the battle for survival and all of those, in the whole movie is
Mm.
it it feels like you're like getting all these little bits of lore. It's like an ocean of
Yeah,
lore that you get to like taste, like because it looks like each character truly has their own unique lore, and you never know when
yeah,
some of it's gonna kind of dip in, and you're gonna get to hear some of it, which is kind of fun.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I
definitely.
do want to say that one of the most unique shots in that movie, or in, I can't remember which part it was, but it's the one where Top Trooper like has this cross pendant, like a Christian cross, and
Yes.
he's just like putting it in or whatever, and you achieved that with a very unique method. I'll put that up on
Yeah,
the screen so people can just see it. But it's a nice like subtle nod to like I
yeah,
mean, there's nothing preachy about your about the movie,
yeah.
but it's like a subtle nod to Top Trooper is canonically Christian.
Yeah, legit. Yeah. So that's yeah, I'm very proud of that one. Yeah, he mentions God a few times here and there, and
Oh
I wanted to
yes.
like make it more legit with the cross and show instead of tell with the cross dropping down in that little clip behind the scenes. And yeah, it was a green screen
Yep.
shot, the cross, where I just dropped it down in front of a green screen, and then I masked that in front of the uh, raw footage shot where he was his putting his uh, vest on
Yeah.
just before he put that on. And then I also took a photo of his arm moving it around, but I just took a photo of the arm and then I
Yeah.
like edited it moving around sort of thing. So it's like three different layers there, but that was a cool little shot. Mm.
Yeah, and I think it's so cool to see because it to me it kind of not like story wise it came out of nowhere, but like
Mm.
style wise. Like I was like I haven't seen you do something like this before. And it's in
Yeah.
those moments where like this, I can tell that you had a vision and you
Yeah.
problem solved to like how am I going to show this? Like what will I have to do to create this visual? And to me that's so much of what we
Mm.
do. What stop motion is all about is just this creative problem solving, like one step at a time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I wanted to take it a bit of a step further for episode six because
Hmm.
I wanted to, since it was like this could be my last proper brick film that I do, I wanted to take it a step further and yeah, give it my all. Even if like some scenes, like some clips like that one, for example, would be a bit different from other footage that I've done. And in the past, I'd be like, oh no, I just want to keep it traditional brick film. But this
Hmm.
time I was like, no, it's doesn't matter anyway. It's like let's just make it as good as I can, you know?
Hmm.
So even if you can't do it in like actual like the raw footage, it doesn't matter anyway. It's the final
Yeah,
product that like really matters, you know.
it
So
is. Yeah, I
mm,
think that was very wise. I have
mm,
found myself constantly falling into this trap of, well, I need to make it all look the same. Everything needs to look cohesive.
yeah,
In that kind of mentality, while it can make your project all look like visually cohesive, it can also keep you from experimenting and taking risks and actually creating a really memorable uh, piece of film.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely glad I did that and
Mhm.
experimented in the different scenes there.
Yeah.
Definitely turned out good. Oh, one other thing I did was there was like two different eagle shots of an eagle
Hmm.
flying by in the episode. There was one right at the beginning and one right at the end. It was
Mm.
during the in your universe, the TLZA scene.
Yes.
I got someone else who I shouted out many times as well, which obviously I should have, to render those two little shots. I think his name was Any Brick, I think.
Okay.
Shout out to him if I got that correct. And yeah, he did a spectacular job, like of a bird's eye view of the eagle flying
Yeah.
through the jungle. Because I wanted to show more of the environment as well. Because it's kind of hard in stop motion because, the sets are small and you can't always show a vast amount of the environment. So
Oh yeah.
shots like that really helped make the world seem vast and bigger for sure. And at the end with the mountains and some safe zone in the background
Hmm.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very impressed by the Eagle shot. I mean, that just like
Yeah.
immediately you're like, whoa, this is interesting. And you
Yeah.
did such a great job with Kevin and Russ and like the whole like TLZA
Yeah.
shout out. I absolutely loved it. I
So
thought
fun.
you just in using a relatively limited amount of like voice resources, you made it very fun. And yeah,
Yeah.
I just appreciated that you did that.
Yeah, I'm glad that like there's some of those outtake lines that you uploaded years ago, like
Yeah.
that helped a lot. And I didn't think they were gonna fit, but then by the time I edited them in, I was like finding, oh, I could probably add this line in here. Like I could subtly make it sort of work, and it surprisingly did. Like
Yeah.
even there was a line where it was like the person who voice acted Gerald.
Hmm.
Um, he said something, but it wasn't even supposed to be a line for your
Hmm.
episode. It was like he was just saying it in the mic, and I was like, wait, that actually kind of works in the context of this. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think that's where he
no,
says, "Oh, I just can't get it."
yeah,
Right?
he was
Yeah.
voice acting Russ, and then he said, oh,
Yes.
I just can't get it, which sounded like Gerald, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, that works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he just can't get the zombie. His aim is so bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so great.
He said it
Well,
quietly as well, so it worked perfectly.
yeah, like muttering it under his
Yeah,
breath. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it's
Luke, we should
perfect.
probably call it there, but I just
Yeah,
want to
fair
say
enough.
again, thanks so much for your time. It's so great to talk to you and see you face to face, and
Yeah,
let's do this again sometime.
yeah, for sure. That was
Yeah.
very fun. It was very
Yeah.
fun. Glad
Well,
to finally talk to you after that long. Yeah.
yeah, finally. Good
After all
luck.
the Discord and Instagram messages.
Yes,
Yeah,
lots of back and
a lot
forth
of
and
yeah.
lots of inquiring about the potential of the multiverse of
Yeah,
zombies.
I feel like I was quite lucky to get that one because there's a few times where you're like, oh, I'll think about it. You weren't too sure, but I just kept asking in different
Yeah,
ways
you were
to see if
persistent.
I can get it. Yeah, and I was eventually you caved in. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
you
Well,
got
and
it. It's so good.
yeah, and honestly, you like exceeded my expectations with what you did, and
Yeah,
I have people asking me about like, well, is it a multiverse or like can this be canon? Can this be canon? And there
yeah,
comes a point where I'm like, I got to be a little bit discriminating in what is and isn't
yeah,
canon and what I agree
yeah.
to. But I'm
That's
very
fair.
glad
Yeah,
that we landed on it.
yeah, yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, man, good
Yeah,
luck with your studies, and
yeah. Thank you.
we'll talk again sometime.
Yeah, can't wait to see second movie.
Thanks, man. It'll be big. It'll be in probably 15
Yeah.
years, but it'll be memorable.